Very good morning to all of you. Respected Engineer Ratan Kumar, Chairman CCCIEI, Dr. T.S. Kamalji, Shri K.K. Mahajanji, Gardi Principal, Dr. Bajit Singh Ji, Engineer Sukhbir Singh Ji Mundi, Sanjeev Verma Ji, P.R. Sharma Ji, different delegates from the colleges, my colleagues, and dear students. On behalf of Department of Life Sciences, BM Khalsa College, Garhshankar, I welcome you all on this webinar. The topic is engineers' role in energy conservation, efficient use of energy resources, environment, climate change, etc. This is not only a talk, it is a technical talk from webinar. This webinar is organized by Department of Life Sciences of BM Khalsa College, Garhshankar in collaboration with institutions of Engineers India, Punjab and Chandigarh State Center. Now, I am request Engineer Sukhbir Singh Ji Mundi, FIE, Chairman, Institute of Engineers, Punjab and Chandigarh State Center. Sir, please formally welcome all the delegates, chief guests, keynote speaker, and participants on this webinar. Sir, Sukhbir Singh Ji Mundi.
Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Good morning, everyone. I, on behalf of the Punjab and Chandigarh State Center of Institution of Engineers India, welcome you all on the occasion of technical talk cum webinar on engineers' role in energy conservation, efficient use of energy resources, environment, climate change matters, jointly organized by the Institution of Engineers and BAK Memorial College, Garhshankar, Punjab. I welcome Engineer K.K. Mahajan, ex-Senior Executive of Tata Chemical Limited, Gujarat, DCW Limited, Gujarat, and SIEL Chemical Complex, Rajpura, Punjab, and Delhi, key speaker of today's event. Engineer K.K. Mahajan did his BE Mechanical Engineering. He is empaneled in faculty on industrial sector energy conservation, energy studies, fuels diagnostic studies, and audits with PCRA, Ministry of Petroleum and Natural Gas, for the last 15 years. He is also associate with study of energy audit and course under PAT scheme with Energy Efficiency Service Limited, Government of India, and Bureau of Energy Efficiency. He is industrial consultant for matters of energy, switching of fuels, projects related to chemical manufacturing, environment. He remained guest speaker and visiting faculty to engineering and management institutes. I also welcome chief guest of today's event, Engineer R.R. Talwar, Chairman, Center Coordination Committee of Institution of Engineers, India. Shri R.R. Talwar graduated from IEI in 1982. He is a corporate member for the last 40 years and fellow member for the last 20 years. Presently, he is working as CEO and MD NGR Rising Energy. During professional experience of more than 40 years, he had worked in multidisciplinary fields, hydroelectric projects of national importance, and also worked here electrical in NIT. I also welcome Professor T.S. Kamal, FI member and former Vice President IEI for presiding over today's event. I also welcome all council members, committee members, corporate members, students, all engineering fraternity, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you once again. Thank you.
Before I request Shri K.K. Mahajan sir, as Sukhbir sir, Mundi sir explained very well their biodata, I add one few lines that he did his BTech Mechanical from Punjab Engineering College And Nearbout has a total industrial and technical experience of 37 years before his retirement. But even after retirement, 12-year industrial, academic, and technical experience. Uh, After we can say that post retirement, he is experienced industrial consultant with demonstrated history of working in renewables and environment industry. So over to you, sir. Sir K. Mahajan, sir.
Thank you.
You, sir.
Thank you. Very good morning. Sat Sri Akal. Namaste. Today's chief guest, Shri R.R. Tanwarji, Chairman, Central Coordination Committee, Dr. T.S. Kamalji, Council Member, IEI, and Chairman, IEI, Punjab and Chandigarh Center, Shri S.S. Buddiji, and Honorary Secretary, Dr. B.S. Khera and all the learned participants of this webinar on a very important subject. It is my honor and privilege to be the key speaker for today, give a talk on a subject of role of engineers in energy efficiency and energy conservation in better environment. So this webinar and talk is sponsored by the department which name is PCRA, Petroleum Conservation Research Association, which is under the Ministry of Petroleum and Natural Gas. And I also welcome my colleague, Shri Sanjeev Verma, who is the State Regional Coordinator of this department with PCRA, and he is based at your Chandigarh state. So I welcome him and he on the team. He will also say a few words. So before wasting any time, so I start my presentation. I am sharing my presentation.
Please request to all the delegates, please mute your microphones.
Is it visible?
Yes, sir, it is visible, but it is not for the first one.
Visible?
Make it full screen.
Okay, I will do it. So as you know, this is the topic of today. So this is the department of PCRA who is sponsoring this today's talk, and its website is pcra.org. Lot of information you can get from its website also. So this today's talk, generally in their language, it is called the Institutional Training Program. So this is the energy and power scenario of the country. India is the third largest producer of electrical power and third largest consumer of electricity in the world. The other two countries are USA and China. Third is the India. As on March 31st, 2019, the installed generation of 156 gigawatt. 1 gigawatt is 1,000. The investment in power generation in that means in 1 year 18%, which is according to International Energy Agency is a large growth rate compared to any other country. Third paragraph is related to of renewable energy like solar, wind, and is a huge, which includes 750 gigawatt solar energy, 100 wind energy, 20 gigawatt is the not the large, small, and 25 gigawatt is the bioenergy. Small hydro have been included in the renewable energy. The target of the nation of India going more renewable energy uses is 175 gigawatt renewable energy capacity to have this capacity by 2022 and 500 gigawatt is by 2030. And hello, I am audible?
Yes, sir, you are audible. Please go on.
So, of the nation to by 2030, we want to have most of our transport, whether it is other commercial vehicles, part of the goods, etc. By 2030, we want electric. Will mobility on electric power. So the major role to play in our country's resources, efficiently utilize, conservation of energy resources, all these things, engineers have a major role to play. Engineers are working in manufacturing industry. Lot of manufacturing industries where goods are produced, products are manufactured as per the requirement of the nation and for export also. So every manufacturing industry, lot of energy and power is used. So engineers there in those manufacturing industries, they can contribute their information, their knowledge, their capacity to minimize the use of energy and its resources. Refinery, they are working in refineries also, in process industries like food processing industries and other type of industry. They are working in thermal power plants and hydropower plants. They are working in the cement plants also, seed plants, fertilizer plants, paper mills, chemical manufacturing plants. So name any type of industry, major, they are working everywhere. All the engineers, whether they are mechanical, they are chemical, they are electrical, instrumentation, computer science, they can contribute a lot. Building roads and highways, other infrastructure, handling of major projects, mining sector, service sector, and their contribution can be in innovative design, new technologies coming out, the new green technologies, cleaner fuels, and so on, so that our environment is also better and we are sustainably using our energy and its resources. Everywhere, energy and its resources are crucial in the manufacturing, in the process industries. Cost of production and services include about 20 to 25%, even somewhere more than this also, as energy part is about 20 to 25% as the cost of production. Rest being the material cost, manpower cost, and other overhead costs. Engineers are there for sustainability and self-reliance as far as energy and its resources are concerned. Engineers can make the nation energy self-reliant, autonomous from all aspects by efficient and sustainable use of energy and its resources, materials, etc. in all activities. Make the nation energy self-dependent and self-supported. Engineers plan for and adopt measures for energy conservation, efficiency, and explore more dependence on renewable energy sources. This will help in making Atmanirbhar Bharat achieve the targets of United Nations UN Sustainable Development Goal (SDG) they are called by India as a nation, lowering nation's carbon footprint. Carbon footprint, I think you know, carbon footprint means how much we are consuming those energy resources which are resulting into carbon emission in the environment. So more use of energy resources which can generate carbon dioxide in the environment, that means more carbon footprint. Mitigation of that, reducing engineers have a great role to play. Now, engineers and scientists have been doing their lot since long. They have been doing. They are doing it. They have done it, and they will do it. As we know, in the late 60s, a call was given our Prime Minister, late Prime Minister Lal Bahadur Shastri, that Jai Jawan and Jai Kisan. What was the occasion? To have one-time meal and one day in a week. It was against the backdrop of food grain supply, which was threatened at that time to be solved by America. And at that time, the Prime Minister Lal Bahadur Shastri thought that why we should not put in efforts collectively to make our India self-reliant as far as food grains are, our food supply is concerned. At that time also, the engineers who are agriculture engineers, agri-scientists, M.S. Swaminathan, they contributed, they helped the nation to become self-reliant as far as food grains are concerned, green revolution. Similarly, self-reliance in energy, economy, environment is, as far as environment is concerned, society-based reliance, sustainability, engineers have to contribute in this. One major element in the concept of Atmanirbhar is the replacement of imports by indigenization, by manufacturing ourselves, can make it happen. And then there is another slogan, vocal for local. Vocal for local means we should put more effort. We should have our own local manufactured goods to be used by everyone. Then upskilling, reskilling to uh, to improve our the skill of our own manpower so that they are competitive as far as manufacturing of goods which we are at present importing. So that type of things are nowadays very much in focus of the nation, of everybody. Engineers for making India self-reliant, what they can do. Energy management is required both in its demand and supply. We have to manage our energy and its resources requirement, manage that environment both in demand and its supply. Energy efficiency and management both at the domestic level, village level, or city level, that is also very important. In sectors like transport sector, public transport, private transport, railways, shipping, aviation. You know, our major consumption of the diesel as a source of energy, as a fuel, major is in the transport sector. Similarly, their engineers can contribute a lot to have the efficient, proper use of this petrol and diesel in transport and everywhere. Industrial sector, manufacturing industries of all types, service industries, power generation, power transmission and distribution, reduce the losses as etc. in power transmission and distribution, mining areas, utilities areas, both medium and small scale industry. Everywhere engineers are involved somewhere or the other, somehow or the other, to make India self-reliant and good in the economy. Engineers' contribution, again, I am continuing with that. In construction also, in energy efficient and green construction and green building design, so that the buildings are green buildings. They are self-reliant from every angle, all these things. In agriculture sector also, like going for drip irrigation, so that thereby you can have it. Is there any, is okay? Okay. Then drip irrigation so that we can have efficient use of water also, water conservation, use of biofertilizer instead of the chemical fertilizer, solar pumps, the irrigation pumps which are using the solar energy, based on solar energy. I think in many states, some people are now having, governments are promoting the use of solar powered this irrigation pumps. Then energy from agri residue, that crop burning, to prevent that crop burning. There are talks, there are steps being implemented by Punjab government, Haryana government to use that residue, that crop residue, to make it convert into bioenergy and all that. Awareness, creation of awareness to have energy efficient energy efficiency and energy conservation in every walk of life, then use of more energy efficient equipments, targeted equipments and appliances. All these things are where everybody can contribute. Engineers can more contribute. Forecasting, that is also an important step. I took some this information that engineers are there to have a smart grid,
Excuse me, sir.
metering, and
Sir, ਤੁਹਾਡੀ screen
yes,
नहीं visible. Your screen is not visible.
not visible. How it is possible?
Yes, sir,
I am sharing my screen. Everybody is not having that screen. Somebody is having, somebody not, like that. वर्मा जी आपको स्क्रीन
full screen नहीं दिख रहा है. It has become part of screen sharing.
है?
दिख रहा है.
दिख रहा है ना?
उस पर क्लिक करवा दीजिए. हाँ, उसको जो बोल रहे हैं लेडी या जेंटलमैन, ask them to click on that portion. प्रेजेंटेशन पे वो फुल स्क्रीन आ जाएगा.
मैडम जो आपने बोला कि स्क्रीन दिखाएंगे, आप उसको क्लिक करिए. So my screen is reading forecasting energy demand. Is it okay? Available? Yes. Should I continue? So all
sir, screen is visible, but it's a half cut.
But there must be some problem. In my computer, it is full. In my computer, it is full. There must be some problem with your computer or something. I don't know why. If everybody is having that problem, then I will have to share it again.
For me, it's okay now. For changing my phone's direction, it becomes complete now.
You do it. You guide others also to do it. Okay. Anyway, so what this slide shows that even the energy management by using the artificial intelligence, AI, machine learning, and IoT can help in energy efficiency, energy consumption. Who will contribute that? Who will do that? Our computer engineers, our mechanical engineers, our electrical engineers, who are working on the this IT sector, and all that, they can help us. In this example, Visakhapatnam in Andhra, first time in India, they have done Andhra Pradesh Power Transmission Company deployed the day-ahead electricity forecasting. They are forecasting the power demand 1 day ahead by using artificial intelligence and machine learning to forecast the next day electricity consumption in units. That way they can manage their power generation also, power transmission and distribution also, and consumption also. So that means there is no wastage. That is the efficient use of energy and all that. I'm moving ahead. And the engineers to make India energy self-reliant, reduce imports of coal and petroleum products. Here I want to explain something to you. You know, in India, power is produced mostly in those power plants which are called thermal power plant using coal. And coal we are getting from our coal mines in many areas in the northeast and Odisha side and Bihar side and Bengal side. Okay. But this coal which we are using in our thermal power plant to produce power, it is not meeting our full demand. We are even importing coal from Australia and Indonesia, good quality coal we are importing for our thermal power plants also and for our steel plants also. The desired coal we are getting imported. And about 75 to 80% power is produced in thermal power plant. The rest is the renewable energy, hydropower, nuclear power plant. That means coal is a major source of energy as of now, which our government thrust is to reduce the dependence on coal slowly and go for renewable energy. Then again, petroleum, you know, crude oil, which we call crude oil, जिसे हम हिंदी में कच्चा तेल भी बोलते हैं. We are getting this crude oil from many places from the ground below in our Indian territory. And we are getting from the sea below also. And that crude oil goes to the oil refineries like Panipat refinery, Bajinda refinery, Bombay Refinery, the largest refinery in India in Gujarat at Jamnagar, that is Reliance Refinery. So what is happening is that crude oil goes to the refinery, it is processed there, and from there we are getting the energy fuels like petrol, diesel, furnace oil, LPG, liquefied petroleum gas, जिसे हम रसोई गैस कहते हैं, and furnace oil and coal tar used for making of roads, etc. All these are the products from the crude oil. And our production of crude oil in our Indian territory is not meeting our full demand required by all the refineries. It is only meeting our 30% demand. 70% we are importing. Nowadays, the prices of petrol and diesel, they are fluctuating also, they are rising also. Why? Because we are getting the costlier crude oil from, we are importing costlier crude oil from Gulf countries like Iran, Iraq, Saudi Arabia. So what I mean to say here is an efficient use of petrol, diesel, even LPG at home, in hotels and in other areas, our dependence on import of crude oil will come down. And who will do that? Engineers will do that. Engineers will help in that mission. So that is the contribution of all type of engineers, and people like the engineers or other people, they can also contribute. Promotion of R&D in energy sector. You know, Government of India is having some R&D centers established in IITs and other type of institutions like Indian Institute of like IISC, and their engineers and scientists are working all the days and nights. They are working on finding out new technology, new processes, new fuels, greener technology, greener fuels, like that. Then EV manufacturing, electric vehicle manufacturing and its adoption. As I told in my previous slide, 2030 is a mission the government has. So we want to switch over to electric mobility. Hydrogen is a major fuel of, is a future fuel for transport. That is also coming into our news nowadays. People are going for more because hydrogen is a very green fuel. It does not have any, you can say, environmental pollution. When hydrogen burns, it generates water, no pollution. So hydrogen is the fuel for the future for the transport as well as for industrial application. Maybe heating purposes, maybe some power generation, like that. Promotion of biomass energy, biogas, biofuels like ethanol, methanol based. Now I think you may be knowing, you may be aware of this thing. The government of India has given some incentives. They are promoting, they are asking the sugar mills to produce less sugar than go and produce more ethanol, because the sugar mills can produce ethanol from the sugarcane juice. There is a process for that. They don't manufacture sugar from the sugarcane juice, but they use that sugarcane juice for manufacture of ethanol. And as of now, there is a blending of ethanol into petrol at the rate of, say, about 6 or 7% as of now. But government has the target to achieve that mixing of ethanol in petrol up to 20%. Indian Oil Corporation is a major, you can say, oil company who are doing research also. They are taking a lot of steps in this direction. Okay, so what will be the advantage? When we will be mixing up to 20% ethanol in petrol, our dependence on import of crude oil will come down, because that petrol and diesel are products based on crude oil. Similarly, then other opportunities, other technology like energy storages like battery storage, pumped water storage, compressed air storages. All these are now the talk of the day. Why? Because our more dependence on renewable energy, they can, because those type of renewable energy like solar and wind, they are fluctuating. They are not consistent, because sometimes you are having a very good sunshine, sometimes you don't have. But in most of the India is fortunate to have most of the days of the year better sunshine. Then similarly, wind blowing, speed of the wind is sometimes is fluctuating, sometimes high speed, sometimes low speed. So use of renewable energy can be integrated with the grid also, but at the same time we can have better use of better use of solar energy by way of storage, whether it is battery storage, whether it is pumped water storage, whether it is the compressed air storage, or even hydrogen generation also. That is also there. Hydrogen generation can be linked with the renewable energy. Energy management standard is also there. The engineers who know about ISO, international standard, there is a standard ISO 14001, which is purely related to energy management wherever it is possible, like manufacturing, industry, service, or anywhere. It can be adopted, and it is a very useful standard to have the optimum use of power and energy sources. Then there is a Government of India scheme, PAT scheme, Perform, Achieve, and Trade. That is developed by another department like PCRA. It is under Government of India department, Bureau of Energy Efficiency. Under that department has come out with a scheme, Perform, Achieve, and Trade, PAT. And under this scheme, there are some sectors like iron and steel, pulp and paper, chlor-alkali plants, thermal power plants, chemical plants, aluminum industry, and all that industries are there, who are the major consumers of energy and its resources. These are the sectors of manufacturing who are the major consumers of energy and its resources. When we talk about energy, it includes everything, whether it's electrical power, whether it's coal, diesel, petrol, biofuel, or any type of energy source we are using. And there is a scheme called Gate to Gate, G to D, G to G. That means whatever energy is entering at the gate of the industry, and whatever energy is coming out of the industry, total net energy, what they have used. And per ton of production, per unit of their production, if it is iron and steel, then per ton of steel, how much energy they are using. If it is a pulp and paper, per ton of paper produced, how much energy and its resources they are using. So like that, the government have asked them to submit their reports of the last 3 years, and how much they have produced and how much energy they have used. Then after that scrutiny of their reports of last 3 years, the government has given them some targets to bring down their per ton of production, per piece of production, per unit of production, their energy consumption by a certain percentage. And under that scheme, they are asked to achieve that target within another 3 years or 2 years. They are given some time limit. So based on that, they're doing that. They are putting their efforts. They are changing their process. They are changing their technology. They are putting their efforts in every way possible so that they can achieve the target. What will be the benefit to achieve that target? I will tell you later on. So this is again a vocal for local message to the industry people, where engineers have to contribute. Vocal for local means we should more emphasize the use of locally manufactured products and having things like that. So these are the different type of components which we are, as of now, we are importing mostly. Auto components, agriculture tools, engineering products, textile, plastics, toys, printing, cranes. But these are the products which we want. These are the some missions of the Government of India. Approximately 73% of energy demand is met through imports. As I told you, we are importing coal, we are importing crude oil, and about 75 lakh crores per year is spent on import of crude oil. And there are some missions of the Government of India related to energy efficiency and conservation. National Solar Mission, Water Mission, Mission for Sustainable Himalayan Ecosystem, Mission for Green India, Mission for Sustainable Agriculture, and all these things are there. Okay. Now, National Mission for Enhanced Energy Efficiency. I am reading only the first paragraph. It mandates the specific energy consumption decreases in the large energy consuming industries with a system for companies to trade energy saving certificate under the PAD scheme, which I explained just PAD perform. That means it is like that. Okay, whosoever industry people they achieve that target, they will get some certificates from the government, which are called energy saving certificates, ES certificates. They will get some value, that certificate carry some value amount. Okay. So those industries will get these certificates based on their achievement of target or reducing their energy consumption per unit of production. And those industries which were asked to reduce their energy consumption, they could not achieve their target, they will be forced, they will be asked to purchase those energy saving certificates from those industries who have achieved that, who have earned that certificate. So those energy deficient industry will be asked to purchase those certificates from there. So what is that? That means there will be some trading of these certificates. That is the benefit for this scheme. Okay, now I'm moving ahead. Target is plant specific. Again, the target which are given by the government of India to different industries, they are plant specific. It is target is less for energy efficient plants and target is high for energy inefficient plants. That is a major basis. Now, I am giving you an example of this type of scheme, like our PAD scheme, which is being followed by a country like USA. There they are calling it cap and trade. USA, they are calling it cap and trade. The cap and trade program is similar to our this PAD scheme. It is the centerpiece of California's battle against global warming, and it is very stringent, the only system of its kind in the country. It is designed to reduce the greenhouse gas emissions. I will explain you about that greenhouse gas emissions later from facilities like oil refineries, food processing industries, and power plants. California is a state in USA which is relying on this cap and trade. Nearly a third of its emissions reduction goal is there. They want to reduce their emission reduction by one third at least. So how does California's cap and trade program work? At a basic level, cap and trade is supposed to put financial pressure on companies to reduce their emissions by requiring them to obtain permits for each metric ton of greenhouse gas they release. That means they are asked to reduce your greenhouse emissions, and for every metric ton of greenhouse gas, they are asked to purchase something. They contribute some financially. That means they have to some go under some financial burden because of that. Now, engineers for self-reliance and sustainable growth. As I explained in my previous slide, United Nations Sustainable Goals. Self-reliance and sustainable development are associated with each other. These two do care for the welfare of the human well-being, the basic needs of the poor, the prospects of the future generations, and preservation of natural resources. Indian engineering community subscribes to this above philosophy and has done itself proud. So we are proud of our engineer fraternity, our engineer brothers and sisters. They have contributed, they will contribute, they are contributing. Goal number 7, United Nations goal number 7, affordable and clean energy, ensures access to affordable, reliable, and sustainable and modern energy for all. What do you mean by modern? Modern means which is less polluting, which is less contributing to climate change and global warming. Targets for India 2030 includes access to affordable and reliable energy by increasing the share of renewable energy in the global energy mix. That is the goal number 7 of the United Nations. For every country, this goal is to be achieved by every country. This would involve improving the energy efficiency, enhancing international cooperation to facilitate more open access to clean energy and technology, and more investment in energy, particularly these developed countries, small island and landlocked developing nations. So this is the target goal number 7. Now goal number 12, responsible and responsible consumption and production. Responsible consumption and production of resources, of materials. Ensure sustainable consumption and production patterns. The target of goal number 12 includes using eco-friendly production methods and reducing the amount of waste. Waste reduction, zero waste. By 2030, national recycling rate should increase as measured in terms of material recycled. That means we must have zero waste or reduced waste. Along with that, we must have the recycling also. Companies should adopt sustainable practices and publish sustainability reports. Companies, now there is as a rule, as per rules of Government of India also, large companies in their annual report, they will have to mention what steps they took regarding energy efficiency, energy conservation, what steps they took about sustainability goals also. All these things are now mandatory in their annual report. They have to mention what steps they could take and what was the result out of that. That is a major, you can say, shift in our policy, industrial policy also. Goal number 13, climate action, which is very important. Take urgent action to combat climate change and its impacts by regulating the emissions and promoting developments in renewable energy. In May 2015, a report concluded that only a very ambitious climate deals in Paris 2015 would enable countries to reach the sustainable development goals and targets. I think you may be knowing about Paris Agreement, which was done in 2015 by almost all the countries to contribute something or the other to mitigate the impacts of global warming and climate change, to reduce the greenhouse gases. India has also given some targets to be achieved. India has given, like, we will switch over to more to our energy mix will be about 50% renewables. That target India has given. My pre-slide 125 gigawatt of renewable energy by 2022 and 500 gigawatt by 2030. That is a goal of renewable energy consumption addition into our energy mix. So I'm moving further. India's status on UN Sustainable Development Goals, where we stand as far as United Nations Sustainable Development Goals are concerned. There are 17 Sustainable Development Goals for the country to achieve by 2030. India's rank among 156 countries is 112. That means we are not at a very comfortable position. Engineers have to do still a lot more in this direction also. India's Sustainable Development Goal rank among 6 Asian countries is 5th. India's score is 7 out of 100 in overall. This preparedness for Sustainable Development Goals achieving. We are midway between as far as achieving the United Nations set Sustainable Development Goals. We have done something, but still a lot has to be done. Self-reliance in energy and its resources. These are the major energy resources, which are conventional energy resources, which are mostly the fossil-based energy resources, like natural gas. LPG, I think it is different, it is liquefied petroleum gas, which is a product out of a refinery using crude oil. Then PNG is a piped natural gas. CNG is a compressed natural gas. It is all natural gas. Then LNG is a liquefied natural gas. Petrol, diesel, electrical power, hydropower, both mini hydropower, large hydropower, nuclear energy. Then coal is also, as I told you, is a major, as of now, our major energy resource where we are producing the electrical power in our thermal power. Then solar energy, wind energy, biomass energy, oceanic energy. There are research and some other innovative methods are going on how we can use the energy of oceanic waves like high tides, low tides, then geothermal energy. That means the energy which is there in the ground below, geothermal energy. Like I think, somewhere in Himachal Pradesh, there are some hot water springs are there. That is a geothermal energy. Then in energy, then in industries, we are having a energy source of like in the form of steam for heating purposes, like food industries, milk plants. We are using this steam as a source of heat for pasteurization of milk, etc. Then compressed air is another source of energy, which is used for our pneumatic systems or pneumatic control valves, etc. In many engineering industries, we are having this compressed air based. Our pneumatic presses are there, pneumatic drills are there, pneumatic grinders are there. So a lot of things are running on this compressor. Again, compressor is a source of energy which is produced indirectly from the normal electric power by running the air compressor. But still, we can call it as another source of energy, indirect source of energy as a compressor. No, this is very important. There is a gentleman of American gentleman whose name is Mr. Thomas L. Friedman. New York Times, he told something. The first fuel is oil and gas. Second fuel is a coal. Third fuel is RE. RE means the renewable energy. Fourth fuel is the nuclear energy. But fifth fuel is the energy efficiency. That means if we go for more energy efficiency and energy conservation, that will be our fifth fuel. And according to him, there exists a potential of about 35% improvement of energy efficiency globally. That means all over the world, we have about 35% scope to reduce our consumption of energy and its resources. If we can achieve that, nothing better than that. Then power saving. Now, how the engineers who are working in industries are these type of manufacturing industries, service industries, or other industries, they can contribute how? Power saving in electric motors and drives by using efficient electrical motors, maintaining better power factor in their power supply and distribution, efficient proper use of pumping system, running the water pumps or liquid pumps or chemical pumps more efficiently and more in a power saving way by using techniques like energy efficient pumps, by using variable frequency drives, AC drives, etc. Power saving and efficiency in compressed air system, minimizing the leakage, maintaining the proper pressure, maintaining the proper layout of pipelines, etc. Fuel efficiency of the steam boilers and furnaces and ovens. It is also important because in our steam boilers, our furnaces, our ovens, we are using somewhere the other the energy source as fuel. Somewhere coal is used. These rice mill, they are using the rice husk as the fuel in their boiler. Sugar mills, they are using the sugar cane leftover bagasse as the fuel in the boiler. But and in some industries, they are having these furnaces and ovens, electric furnaces also. But still, there is a scope of having a better and efficient use of fuel in combustion, for combustion in boilers and furnaces and ovens. Better combustion efficiency, better heat recovery system like economizer and air preheater, and recuperators in furnaces, etc. That type of system that will reduce our consumption of fuel in those boilers, furnaces, and ovens. Then proper maintaining, proper servicing of air conditioning system, how much temperature to be maintained. All these measures only can be adopted and enforced by engineers who are working in this way. Power saving and lighting, there's a lot of scope in lighting. As we recommend LED light. Why we are recommending LED light? Why we are recommending more use of LED light in our lighting system? Why? Because LED bulbs, they convert more portion of electrical power into light. Very less portion that is converted into heat. In our earlier old bulbs, like 100 watt, 60 watt, they were converting more electrical power into heat, but less to light. That is why a LED bulb can use about 12 to 13% less power. 12 to 13% less power for generating the same amount of light. And as you know, the level of light at any place is measured in terms of lux light. And there are meters also, lux meter. Many industries, many companies, many office buildings, they are maintaining the proper lux level at their workplace. So that lux using of energy efficient lights and having some light saving, power saving in lighting, some sensor use of sensor like motion sensors, occupancy sensors, day and night sensors, timers, etc. We can have a lot of power saving in lighting also. Then efficiency of transformers also for our transforming our voltage system also in power generation. You know, in every industry there is a loss of power from the power entry into the transformer up to the point of use of the power in different sections of the industry. There is a loss of power in transmission distribution also, in the cables.
Excuse me, sir.
And yeah.
So your PPT as well as your screen is not here. That I mean to say your camera is also, I think, off.
Okay, that means your time is over. 50 आपने इसका 50 minutes का ले रखा था.
नहीं सर.
आपको एक और लेना पड़ेगा. आपने तो आपको बोला था मेरे को कमल जी ने कि हम कंटिन्यू कर सकते हैं.
So your screen is not visible.
हाँ, screen is coming up, but I am getting a message कि time is over. Is it okay? Your time is still left. You are having your screen on. You are online on the this Google Meet.
Yeah, sir. Yes, sir.
Why I am not? Okay, I will find out why.
Sir, you can continue because your the speech is very nice. Technical speech is very nice. You can continue, sir. You can please continue. This is very useful for our II also.
Okay. No, what I mean is you mean to say I should, without my screen, I should go on speaking?
You can speak, sir. You can speak. We are listening you, sir.
But why my screen is not there? That is the point.
No problem, sir. But we are listening you, sir. We are listening your voice also.
No,
we are noting. We are recording it. We are recording this. I am speaking with my headquarters.
Click to cancel your potential. No, it is message is there. It is displayed. Your screen is still visible to others.
Sir, please go on.
Is it okay?
आप आगे बोलते रहिए सर. आपका आवाज सबको सुनाई दे रहा है. Let us continue.
Okay. Okay. तो मैं आपको ये बोलने जा रहा था. तो transformer, there is a power factor, you know, in industry. There is a term called power factor. I think the electrical engineer, all engineers know that what is power factor. Kilowatt is equal to under root 3 square root 3 VI cos phi. V is the voltage, I is the current, cos phi is the power factor. What is the importance of power factor? Every industry is trying to maintain the power factor near about unity. At least 0.99 they try to maintain by having some capacitors installed. There is a term called capacitor bank. And there is an automatic power factor control also. Whenever the power factor goes down, that system installed, APFC, automatic power factor control, will put in more capacitor in the system and bring that power factor back to 0.99. Now, what I mean to say is that what is the importance of the power factor? In the equation, kilowatt is equal to under root 3 VI cos phi. If cos phi goes down, left side of the equation and right side of the equation should be balanced, okay? If A cos phi, that means power factor is going down, something has to go up in that right side. What is going up? I. What is I? Current. That means with every ratio, in any ratio, the power factor is going down, the I current will move up. Current will go up. And with the current moving up, your loss of power in your factory, in your industry, in your building, or wherever you are using that power, that I square R loss will go up because I has gone up. So every cable, every conductor carrying the current, the I square R will go up. You know, every cable, whether it is aluminum cable, copper cable, there is a I square R power loss is there. That is why at the time of selection of some cables and conductors, you select those type of cable, those quality of cable, that size of the cable which has the minimum resistance and the adequate capacity to that transmit and distribute that amount of current. So that loss of power I square R in that cable or in that system is minimum possible. But with the power factor going down, your current going up, your loss will increase. In your power bill, monthly power bill, the part of the power loss will go up. But it is not separated. That is why we don't know what is the amount of power, what is the cost of power which we actually use, and what is the amount of that power which we lost. That is why in many states, you know, bill board people, electricity board supply board people, they find when you maintain the average power factor low, they used to put penalty on your electricity bills in the bills. Within some company having 80 lakhs of monthly bill, and they will put a penalty, say 5 lakhs. Okay, you have to pay 85 lakhs. 5 lakhs is a penalty because you have maintained your power factor very low. You have maintained your power factor 0.8 instead of 0.99, and you have wasted that power in your system, which you yourself could not utilize it properly, but you have simply wasted. And we are power deficient country, and we wanted to supply that power to some other people whom we are not able to supply. And now that system has changed. Now they are billing the power bill in KVA. KVA. A is coming in that. A. That means if you maintain your power factor, again that in that formula, kilowatt is equal to KVA into power factor. Kilowatt is equal to KVA into power factor, K cos phi. So if your cos phi power factor goes down, your KVA will go up, and you will have to pay more bill when your bill is coming on KVA. So now indirectly the penalty or rebate is included in your bill. So that type of things is very important. And now I'm moving further. Then efficient power in transmission and distribution, use of AC drives, VFDs, etc., and automation. Automation is very important. Automation, preventive maintenance, less of breakdown maintenance, timely service and proper service. You know, even you can take the example of your own personal vehicle. If supposing you have purchased a new car and your average something say about 30 kilometers per liter of petrol, and somehow you have not you did not get the opportunity to get your car service at a proper time in a proper way. You could not devote time to that, and your performance has gone down to say 25 kilometers per liter. Why it has happened? Because you have not got your car service properly. Your air filter cleaning, your lubrication, and all that things have not has not done when it was required. So if you do that service again properly at the proper time, you can achieve that original can file it back to the marshal, and you can save petrol. Similarly, you can take the example of your even tire pressure. I think you people know better than me also. Even tire pressure in the car tire is very important. If the tire pressure is less than the desired level, the friction between the tire bottom and the road will be increasing. जैसे हम कहते हैं कि इंजन के ऊपर लोड पड़ जाता है, लोड बढ़ जाता है. Why? Because friction between the tire bottom and the road is increasing, and your consumption of diesel and petrol is increasing. Simply because, and similarly, we have made a study, PCRA has made a study that in large cities where a lot of traffic is there on the road and there are many hurdles on the road, there the average speed, if we can maintain, we can try to maintain our average speed of the vehicle between 45 to 55, your average will be high, 45 to 55. With that speed, your average overall in the month will be high. Instead of what is the reason behind that? Because when you are running at a very high speed and there are some hurdles on the way, like somebody crossing the road, some pedestrian, some cyclist coming, some road diversion, some red signal coming, and suddenly you have to apply brakes. And you are, by applying brakes, what do? You waste your energy. At a higher speed, if you apply brakes, your energy loss is more. At a medium speed, you apply the brakes, your energy loss is less. You anticipate where something will come. You are moving on a passage, and you know where is the red light, where is the road diversion, there is a pit, where some pedestrians are moving. So you maintain your average speed in such a way so that at the time of applying brakes, your speed is say nominal 15-20 kilometers, and you simply apply brakes. By that way, you will have less accidents also. That is also an additional advantage. So I'm moving further. Heat recovery system. In the boiler, in furnaces, economizer, preheater, recuperator. Energy audit. This is very important. You know, energy audit, energy studies, these are the things which give you the clear picture where you stand as far as your energy consumption is there. And I will tell you, even PCRA, our department, which is under Ministry of Petroleum and Natural Gas, they are also doing energy audit of industries, of buildings, of hospitals, of hotels, any industry, any area which is consuming a lot of power and energy sources, they can get energy audit done from PCRA or any agency who is doing energy audit, and they will get the clear picture where they stand, where is the scope of reducing the power and energy resources. That way, you can get a lot of benefit. Your cost of production, cost of service being provided by the agencies like hotels and call centers and other things, that will come down. So that type of thing is very important. Energy audit is, I think, the thing to be done. It is just like a financial audit. It is an energy audit. Every aspect, electrical motor, lighting, air compressor, refrigeration compressor, boiler, furnaces, lighting, pumps, cooling tower, generator. You know, lot of things are done, and things can come clear in front of you in the form of report, and you have to simply have to take steps one by one. There are steps like which simply you can change your system of operation, you will get the benefit. There are some areas where small investment is required. You do small investment, get a lot of benefit out of that. Moving further. Is my screen available or not? Somebody having my screen? No. Okay, I am moving further. वर्मा जी मेरी स्क्रीन नजर आ रही है?
Yes sir, we can.
वर्मा जी?
Yes sir, दिख रही है. हाँ. Yes,
okay,
please move.
अच्छा ठीक है. Just a minute. Okay. So I'm moving further. So these are solar energy, wind energy, bioenergy, geothermal energy, and energy efficiency. I told you that gentleman from America, if this is a renewable energy, only simply a message. This is power planting ISO 50001 and power also 50001. What is the for self-reliance? So Paris Agreement, America, which withdrew from the Paris Agreement of 2015. 2015 का जो पेरिस का climate agreement था, in the time of President Trump, they withdrew it from that. Now, our new president of America, Biden, he has rejoined that. So that is a good news for you people, for everybody, for every person living on this global, on this earth, because that is a great achievement as far as climate change is concerned. High solar wind energy storage needed. So that is energy expert. I am reading only the first paragraph. Energy experts have suggested various technology measures such as boosting solar energy 10 times higher to 5 trillion watts. Whatever energy, solar energy we are having now, 10 times of that, say 5 trillion watts. Wind energy by 5 times, 3 trillion watts, along with the rise in battery production by 50-fold. Battery storage and battery production 50-fold, 50 guna, which are used in electric vehicles by 2030. That is a target to be achieved for our global warming to have a rise in the average environment temperature by 1.5 degrees Celsius. You know, average environment temperature, which is rising, which is called global warming, we intend to have it about 1.5 degrees centigrade more than what it was a year, not more than that. If it goes beyond that, lot of problems are going to come in terms of impacts of climate change and global warming, which I will discuss just now. The countries, our India, countries installed renewable energy capacity has risen 6-fold, nearly 83 gigawatt, and 1 gigawatt is 1,000 megawatt. And in past 5 years, solar power has seen its capacity grow around 12 times to over 31 gigawatt. That is, and below that is the second paragraph, which I already discussed. We do our target of getting renewable energy. India trying to reach a renewable energy target. That is a message on Christmas for having more use of solar energy. You can just have an idea. This is a PV solar power and on agricultural land. You are having a power production from solar energy as well having below the agriculture also. You can, that means a better use of agricultural land. Is also a better use of agricultural land as far as energy production is concerned. India has offshore wind energy. You know, wind energy can be onshore also and offshore also. Onshore means on the land area. Offshore means after the land, over the sea, over the ocean. Offshore wind energy potential is 70 gigawatt, but 0 gigawatt fulfilled. Here is a message. Engineers have to take challenge of that. That means we have got the 70 gigawatt wind energy potential for India only. In the coastal area of India, we have got this much potential, but still we have the 0 gigawatt fulfilled. India has offshore wind potential of 67 gigawatt off the coast of Tamil Nadu, TN, and Gujarat. Here is a picture. Below is the Gujarat coast, that triangular shape, and above is the solar wind energy onshore. Offshore. So it is 67 gigawatt is the potential. nuclear power plants of 7,000 megawatt capacity under construction in India. Again, nuclear power plant maybe some if safeguards are required as far as nuclear safeguards are required, safety concerns are there, but still they are better than this fossil fuel based energy resources because they are not contributing anything to the climate change and global warming and pollution also. 7,000 megawatts are. India possesses tidal energy potential of 8,000 megawatts. That means 8 gigawatt. Tidal, that sea, high tidal waves and low tidal waves. There is a potential energy is there. How to use that potential energy, convert that potential energy into kinetic energy and produce power, that is the point. So that potential is still there, Scientists have developed turbine that can harness electricity from ocean currents. Who are the scientists? They are the engineers. Scientists and engineers, there is not much of difference. Scientists have developed, engineers have developed a turbine that can harness the electricity from the ocean current. That means things are moving. People are working. Coal gasification based ammonia urea project that in culture, the government has invested some amount to have that system generator technology developed in that plant, coal gasification based ammonia urea plant, gasification of coal, better utilization of coal. You know, coal is creating a lot of pollution in the environment. These thermal power plants, they are polluting high pollution in the environment in terms of nitrous oxide, sulfur dioxide, even this mercury pollution is there. And many thermal power plants have been closed down in Punjab and Haryana and some other states which, based on pollution. They are creating a lot of pollution. They are very age-old plants and they have been asked to shut down. Coal slurry transposition after pre-treatment. This is an example of innovation. Instead of transporting coal from one place to the other, from the coal mine to the place of use, you prepare coal slurry after treatment of the coal, so that you prepare that slurry out of coal which is having less ash content and transport that coal slurry to the point of use. I am reading the bold line. The coal slurry pipeline offers a viable alternative where coal with pre-treatment can be transported in the slurry form to destination. Okay, coking coal for steel plants and non-coking for power generation. These are the, I talked in my previous slide, we have some importing sometimes the coal from Australia and Indonesia for better quality coal for power plants and power generation. Steel plants के लिए non-coking coal, coking coal, there are different category of coal which are required for certain type of industry. Green hydrogen is a fuel bursting with climate saving potential. It is a most modern, you can say, fuel, green fuel, no pollution at all, and it will become the fuel for the future. Major hydrogen uses. Plans are afoot for hydrogen power trains in Germany and Italy. Steel makers like Germany's, this company's name, ThyssenKrupp, are experimenting with creating hydrogen power furnaces like that. So that means the use of hydrogen is also getting into motion. There are different types of production of producing hydrogen, which is using electric water. You know, hydrogen can produce using DC and hydrogen from the because hydrogen. So green, that will be green hydrogen if that power used in electrolysis is a renewable energy, and if that hydrogen that electrolysis using power from the natural gas, that will be a blue hydrogen. Then low carbon hydrogen will be if it is using nuclear. So that they have categorized the production of hydrogen based on the fuel, based on the power source. This is important just to tell you how much globally we are spending on the health care due to pollution in the environment, and that pollution which is created by the more and more use of fossil fuels in power generation and other uses of the fossil like coal, natural gas, diesel, petrol, like that. $3 trillion globally the world is spending on healthcare issue. लोगों की हेल्थ के ऊपर इतना इम्पैक्ट पड़ जाता है, बीमारी बढ़ जाती है, हॉस्पिटल का खर्चा, मेडिसिन का खर्चा, कंपनी को इतना मेडिसिन बनाना पड़ता लग जाए. Of global warming and climate change in the form of global warming can result into fire. What is fire? That is a forest fire, wildfire. This is the Amazon forest, which are called as the lungs of the earth. Lungs of the earth. Only a year and a half back, there was a huge fire, widespread, miles together in Brazil, Amazon fire. Amazon forest was under fire. Then there is a flooding of Kerala. That is also an impact of global warming. In a very short period, heavy rainfall, many days together, and all the areas getting global warming. In Kerala, it happened 2 years back, 1.5 years back, all Kerala was flooded. This is then cyclones and hurricanes and cyclones. This is again an impact of that. This is a picture. This is a picture. I took it. I was in the state of Texas. I was visiting America at that time, about I think 3 years back, when Hurricane Harvey came there. And in the city of Houston, this is the scene of city of Houston, where all the area, all the residential area and the other important area, they were flooded with this hip type level water. And people are moving to safer places with their family and children in boats. That is the impact which a country like America has experienced. So every country, whether it's a poor country, rich country, developed country, or underdeveloping country, every country is now bearing the brunt of this climate change and global warming. And something has to be done. Who will do? Engineers will do. How they will do? By efficient and sustainable use of energy and its resources in whatever way they can. More than 200 still in California. California is America, which every destruction, human beings die, property is destroyed by wildfire. Every year it is happening because of global warming. There is a report that 200 still missing in California in the year 2018. Now, this is something for your information. What is the CO2 level in the atmosphere? Weekly averages. As on 25th April 2020, the level of CO2 in the environment was 415.88 ppm, parts per billion. And last year, it was, at this time, last year, 430. That means about 2.2 ppm gone up. And what was level of CO2 in the environment 10 years ago? 393. That means in 10 years, we have the level of ppm risen by about 23 ppm. And what was the base, pre-industrial base? That is the base we consider, 280. What is the time at that time? 1820, 1825. 1820-25 को ये लेवल था एनवायरनमेंट में CO2 का 280 ppm. और यहाँ 280 से हम अभी एक साल में इस लास्ट ईयर तक 415 हो गया है. कितना बढ़ गया? एंड व्हाट इज द सेफ लेवल? 350 ppm. 350 safe level is that level where if that level is maintained, 350 ppm of CO2 in the environment is maintained, our global warming will be in the limit of 1.5 degrees centigrade, which we want to achieve. But I think it is a very hot place if we can have that. Then people are doing a lot of innovation at this field. So this is what I wanted to say to you. Now, any question? If somebody wants to ask something. Otherwise, my colleague, Mr. Sanjeev Verma, would like to share a few words with you. Any question?
No, sir, there is
Okay.
a
So
question.
may I request Mr. Sanjeev Verma? Okay. Let's. Yes.
Hello, good afternoon. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Respected Chief Guest, Engineer R.R. Tanwar sir, respected Dr. T.S. Kamal sir, Shri S.S. Mundi, all my engineer buddies, respected engineers and budding engineers from the engineering college. Sir, thank you very much for giving PCRA the opportunity to interact with you. Being myself an engineer, it feels so good to talk to engineers community. I will straight away come to the topic of energy conservation because Mahajan Saab has elaborated a lot on what we can do. But now I'm going to talk specifically of Chandigarh and area around us, to be very precise. So PNG has come in Chandigarh and now we are moving ahead in Punjab, Haryana, everywhere PNG is coming. So let us start from our home. Are we really using PNG in the way we should use? We are not. What I find doing our study or survey is that LPG stoves are being modified normally at homes to be used with piped natural gas. This is happening in most of the cases. However, sir, LPG stove is designed for use with 30 MB of gas pressure, whereas PNG stove should be designed for 20 MB of gas inlet pressure. So we are using it, but we are not using it efficiently. The modified use for PNG we are just tampering with through a local vendor who says he can come and resolve the issue and make the LPG stove applicable for a PNG stove. Let us talk of the thermal efficiency, sir. Whenever we are purchasing a LPG stove from our homes, what are we looking for? Normally, we look for brands. My request is let us also look into the thermal efficiency of the stoves. How many of the branded stoves are rating thermal efficiencies? The best we find is around 60%. Therefore, the LPG stoves, which is available in the market, and that too, when we talk of efficiencies, we know it is in ideal conditions. Practically, when we use it, is less than 50%. So now, sir, LNG stoves, PCRA, in collaboration with Indian Institute of Petroleum, has innovated and brought out LNG stoves in the market. So through this panel and through this esteemed guest, I request that if we can pursue and propagate this idea that when you're using piped natural gas, let us shift to the stove also so that our efficiency increases, because the efficiency of these stoves is more than 30% as compared to a LPG stove which is converted into a PNG stove. Sir, in PCRA for energy conservation, we are broadly working on 4 themes. That is industrial, transport, domestic and agriculture sector. Because we find that if we talk on all these 4 sectors, we are almost covering 85% to 90% of the energy consumption in the country. Recently, sir, Indian Oil. I'm basically from Indian Oil. I spent 25 years into Indian Oil and I'm now in deputation with PCRA. So after completing my tenure, again, I will go back to Indian Oil. This is the way PCRA functions, sir. Recently, you must have heard about hydrogen and this CNG, which we have buses in Delhi. Now, hydrogen and this CNG buses, it emits 70% less carbon monoxide as compared to a normal bus. It reduces hydrocarbon emission by 15% and increases energy efficiency by 3 to 4%. That we are trying out with 50 buses in Delhi, and if it becomes successful, we'll go across the country for that. So PCR is also conducting energy audits. I am in association with MSME Development Institute, say Ludhiana and Solan. I am visiting industries across the states of Punjab, Haryana, Himachal, and Jammu. I've been interacting with industrial bodies and requesting them to take measures for small scale measures, not large, because sometimes the units are not that very big also, to talk and spread word of energy audits. So energy audits, if an industry alone cannot do it, let us think of doing it in a way of clusters. If a cluster located in an industrial belt can plan industrial audits, definitely we are going to come out with some energy saving initiatives, which will help the industries in a long way. So PCR also conducts energy workshops and energy training programs free of cost. We also conduct walkthrough audits also, because sometimes when I visit these industrial bodies and interact with forums like yours, people say the costing factor is high. Yes, we understand. Cost is always associated with when we are talking. But walkthrough audits can always be conducted, and we will come to the industry, visit, talk to you, see what is going on in the industry, and suggest some improvements which can be done without inculcating any cost. And also, if you want to do it in large scale, then with cost factor also. But improvement of energy efficiency, we must look forward to. So we are also coming up, India is going in a big way in talking of electrical vehicles. Oil industry is also planning to setting up battery storage and battery replacement phenomena, or type of technologies we are talking of. But storage of energy is still a concern for us, because we are still using the old age technology of batteries. We have to come up as an engineers with storage technology which can survive for say a month. Why not? If we think about it, we can definitely go about it, and India can become a leader in this. So when you construct as an engineer, when you are constructing buildings, or offices, we can do our bit by reducing the energy guzzling things like bricks, steel, and other things can be used for some other technology by which we can save energy. For example, the bricks which are using in our buildings, we know it that 1 lakh bricks, when they are made, they consume around 31 tons of CO2 when they are made, the bricks. Similarly, a bag of cement, concreting is going on in a big way. A bag of cement, when it is mixed, it needs around 30 to 50 liters of water. Again, the factories emit around 90 kgs of CO2 in producing 1 bag of cement. Steel production is again energy intensive. When we are talking of reinforcement in our buildings, production of 1 ton of steel costs around 4 to 5 tons of CO2 emission is there. As an engineer, let us do our bit by, at least if not on a large scale, in construction of building. Let us say building foundation, superstructure, roofing, plastering, plumbing, woodwork. If we can incorporate small steps, even by 10 to 15%, if we can look for some other aspects of energy saving things, we can do a lot. In Chandigarh, sir, when I'm traveling, it was a dream for me to get a posting in Chandigarh. This is my 9th posting. When I visited Chandigarh in 2001, 99, 2000, 2001, it was a different city. Now, when I got posting in Chandigarh in 2019, it's a different city. The city has changed a lot in the last 20 years. Traffic has increased, and thereby it is also, yes, population is increasing. Now, let us look forward to what the legacy we are going to leave behind for our children. 20 years or 50 years hence, what Chandigarh will be. Let us talk about it. How others had constructed Chandigarh for us. We are enjoying Chandigarh.
Location वो
Let us think and talk about what Chandigarh will be in 2030 or 2050. Can we do something about it? When I'm traveling in my car in Chandigarh, can we do something about synchronization of traffic lights? Sometimes I find the lights are there and we have to wait along. And normally people do not switch off the engine. When on the other end there is no traffic, can we suggest something that we can do synchronization of the lights in the city, so that at least, let us say, a drop in the ocean, one drop counts a lot. Something can be done. Let us also think about the facts, those of you, sir, who have been privileged and have grown through their childhood and have spent their childhood in Chandigarh. Chandigarh, which was there in 2000, and the Chandigarh which is there in 2021. How much greenery was there in 2000 and how much greenery is left in 2021? Can we really do something about it? These are, as an engineer also, and as the leaders who can spread the message also, let us do our bit by putting greenery. Yes, on Environment Day, we are talking of having plants, putting plant samplings, but let us put up our bit so that those small plants become trees. That effort should go. Means sustainability. Even if we put 5 plants, let them become trees. That would be more important. It will go a long way in making the environment sustainable. And when our children, when we are going to talk them, when they are going to talk to us or about us down the line, these buildings, these multis which we are constructing, yes, all those assets are important, but then, sir, fresh air, drinking water, potable drinking water, and the pandemic that we are facing right now, these will be questions they are going to ask us, that what did our forefathers did for us. So I said vigilant citizens also, and every one of us here, we can take a step forward. With this, sir, I end my words because the time is too short. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Mahajan sir. Thank you, Sanjeev Verma sir. So wonderful talk, very informative and very intellectual. That we know about the energy conservation, green building, global warming, and even when we purchase any household working system, we should be also concerned about the thermal efficiency stoves also. So, sir, it is these are both lectures are very informative. Now, I request our today's webinar's chief guest, Engineer Ratan Kanwarji, FIF Chairman of various committees. So I can add that his various committees, Institution of Engineering India. Sir, please share a few words about this webinar. Sir.
Thank you, madam. Thank you, madam. Very good afternoon and Happy New Year 2021, sir, to everybody, sir. I am very happy today on the topic engineers' role in energy conservation. I am very much thankful to the organizer of the Punjab and Chandigarh State Center organizing this program today, and a very learned speaker, Mr. K.K. Mahajan and Mr. Sanjeev Verma. They have spoken very well on this topic, and I also thank the chairman of Punjab and Chandigarh State Center that with your efforts during these 2-3 years being chairman of Central Coordination Committee, and on behalf of I can say that your center has entered in the 5th top center in India because of doing all the technical activity in a very nice way and inviting a very learned speakers. This is my second time that I am attending your this seminar and technical talk. I am very happy, and I am very much thankful to all Dr. T.S. Kamal also, our senior council member, Bhogalji, our senior council member, Chairman Mr. Mundi ji and Council Member, and Sri Baljit Singh, Baljit Singh Khera, Honorary Secretary of the Center, G.S. Kanti ji, R.P. Sharma, who is attending from Ghaziabad Local Center. He is a former Director Technical of North Hydroelectric Power Corporation. Thank you, Sharma ji. And all other council members, corporate members, ladies and gentlemen, this today's talk is a very important talk. And I think Mr. K.K. Mahajan has covered all the aspects in thermal, hydro, renewable, oil, and other sector also. And likewise, Mr. Sanjeev Verma has covered on CNG, and he has also shown a very beautiful map of Chandigarh before 25 years now, and after 25 years back, and what will be Chandigarh in 2030 and 2050 also. Thank you, Mr. Verma ji. You have spoken very well, and I am also visiting Chandigarh frequently. I have seen Chandigarh. I born in Karnal, Haryana, and my education is from Karnal and Punjab Polytechnic in Lokheri, and after did my graduation from Institution of Engineering only. And I am very much thankful to everybody. And I should not. I think all aspects have taken over by Ms. K.K. Mahajan. It is not good for me to speak more, but I want to tell you that energy conservation has often been referred the fifth fuel, and other four being the so-called primary fuel, coal, which is solid, oil, which is liquid, gas and nuclear, hydroelectricity. The emphasizes the importance of the reducing the amount of energy used not only nationally but internationally also, sir. The simple fact is that the world reserve, the fossil fuel will eventually run out depending on the rate of use, and therefore if the consumption of these forms of energy are reduced, the existing reserves will last longer. Research and experiments could lead to these reserves currently available but uneconomic to recover and use being rendered economic, thus extending further the number of the years before these non-renewable source of energy do eventually run out. So these are the words, sir. Thank you very much. Thank you, the chairman and organizer of IIH Punjab and Chandigarh City Center, and thank you all the speakers. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you, madam.
Thank you, sir. Now, at the last, I request Principal
We
Dr.
also thank you very much on behalf of
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
At last, I request Dr.
Thank you very much.
Baljit Singh, Principal, Khalsa College, Gadshankar, give a vote of thanks. Baljit Singh Khera.
Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Honorable Engineer Ratan Tanwar, Fellow Institution of India, Chairman of various committee of the Institution of Engineer India, Chief Guest of the Day, Dr. T.S. Kamal, former Vice President, Institution of Engineer India, Engineer K.K. Mahajan, ex-senior executive of Tata Chemical Limited, DCW Limited, Gujarat, Seal Chemical Complex, Rajpura and Delhi. Key speaker of the webinar, Engineer S.S. Mundi, Chairman, Institution of Engineer India, Punjab and Chandigarh State Center, Professor Manveer Kaur, Head of the Department of Life Sciences, Babbar Akali Memorial Khalsa College, Gadshankar, various council members, committee members, Institution of Engineer India, Punjab and Chandigarh State Center, faculty and staff member of Babbar Memorial Khalsa College, Gadshankar, and dear participants. Good afternoon to all of you. On the behalf of Institution of Engineers Punjab and Chandigarh State Center and Babbar Akali Memorial Khalsa College Garhshankar, I express my gratitude to the Honorable Engineer Ratan Tanwar. I thank you, sir, for
Thank
kindly being the chief.
thank you, sir. Thank you.
Appreciate you for despite you to Dr.
Thank you, Kara, sir. Thank you.
for accepting a to the on topic in
Something's wrong.
in environment climate change. I engineer for the excellent speech he delivered today to providing road congestion, efficient use of energy resources and climate change. I congratulate Professor Manveer Kaur and his member in initiative to organize this collaborative seminar. Very thank. I am confident to be beneficial for the nation. Say, you and family, good. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you all the participants.
Oh, we also.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Mandi, sir.
Just a minute.
Sir,
Thank you.
Sarwarji, thank you.
Okay, sir. Okay, okay,
Rajan ji,
sir.
thank you.
Okay, Madan sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
सर थैंक यू वेरी मच. और सर पीसीआर से कभी भी आपको कनेक्ट होना, इफ यू वांट एनीथिंग, वी आर फ्रॉम गवर्नमेंट, वी डू नॉट चार्ज एनीथिंग. यू आर मोस्ट वेलकम टू कॉन्टेक्ट अस एट pcra.org or myself, I am based in Chandigarh.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you.